long-term thinking, long-term mindset. Why you need it, why it serves you, and how to get it. Right, so I want to talk about long-term thinking, another mindset type reset. So, especially as we look into tougher times potentially, as we saw a big list of redundancies and all sorts of stuff that came up yesterday that's hit the tech market and then starting to push over into other areas. We've got to think more long term. It's easy in this game, especially. We're not going after 2, 3K, 5K, 10K, 15, 20K fees. We're going after obviously big units that take a long time to get through. So what I'm looking to put the focus on here is, we all know the stories of where Jack got to when he first started. First year came in COVID, absolutely crap. Second year 200, third year 500. Hopefully this year we're going to hit $1 million for him. So which is great, but for you guys, it's about thinking, what do I need to sacrifice in order to get to where I want to be? And would I sacrifice X, Y, and Z right now in order to get to there? So I've spoken to a lot of you individually. So if you've been in recruitment, let's say for example recruitment for a year, 6 months, whatever you've been in recruitment for, if you do a deal, it doesn't make you a better recruiter. It just means you've got money on the board. Right? If you join on day one, so I joined a recruitment business, first job, and within 3 days I've done the deal. Did it make me a good recruiter? Made me think I was a good recruiter. Well, it wasn't. So, didn't make me any better, just gave me the confidence that actually, God, I am good at this job and I can do really well. I don't think I did another deal for a month, 2 months, but we're talking £1,500 deal. Yeah, that exciting. Part-time dentist in Southampton. Absolute legendary. That's what you get from working candidates hard and getting good products in the door with absolutely no skill, and the guy got the job. So it's about keeping that level of motivation of long-term thinking. When we think short-term, we think I need a deal this week, I need a deal this month, I need a deal this quarter, and if I'm not, I'm failing, I'm not right. We've got to think, how do we apply ourselves to that longer-term process of this is where I want to be and what I'm working towards? Because if you think long term, we've got to think short term sometimes, and we have to apply things, of course. But if we think the more focus on longer term, we spend more time making ourselves better than we do if we think short term, where we spend more time fretting and worrying and panicking and doing the actions that may bring us an emergency placement or something that might save our feelings and our belief in ourselves. But if you think longer term, my goal is to be £1 million biller, and that is what I'm working towards. So you're taking actions every day, every week, every month, every quarter towards being that person. Whereas if your action is, I need to make a placement this month, you're taking short-term actions to drive it. Now, we're always going to be in both camps. It's not a way of thinking, well, I can just be in one camp and, fine, I'll just think long-term all the time. Okay, that might not serve you at that very moment, but you've always got to have a long-term mindset and a long-term goal of this is where I want to be, right? Let me give you an example. If your long-term goal is to be a manager and a leader within the organisation, if your short-term goal is to make money and produce, enjoy your life, do X, Y, and Z, it might not be that they mirror, because you're spending every month how to build more, how to build more, how to build more, how to build more. You get to the level of trigger of, I can now be a manager. You can't be a manager. Why? Because you've not done all the training, you've not done all the development, you've not thought about it, you've not focused on that level. You've got to be thinking that from day dot. From probably the first job in recruitment, my old goal was to be a leader and a manager in a position, whether it be probably for the wrong reasons initially of having authority, and the right reasons now developing people and turning people into achieving their goals and their dreams. So, but those standards and everything else that's got to be played through is an important element of how you get to where you want to be. So if your goal is to be £1 million biller, how are you working towards being £1 million biller? How much time are you spending on the short-term stuff and how much time are you spending on the long-term stuff? If you're sweating over the short-term stuff, give some thought to where you want to be long-term and what actions would you take in order to be £1 million biller. If your goal is to be a manager in the business, what actions have you taken in order to develop your skills of leadership? Now, it could be what you do. Do you go and read a book on management right now? now? Probably not, because that's not really what you need to apply yourself to. But do you know the criteria and standards that need to be met in order to be a leader and a manager? The basic standards, the basic requirements, this is what you need to be as standards. And you apply those standards from day one, because then everyone will see you as a manager before you are one. And then that criteria is easy, because you've already influenced everybody, but your standards are here, the business's management standards are here, and you're above that, and you can continue along that standard, right? Same with £1 million biller. Do £1 million billers sweat about what they're going to bill this month? Probably not. Unless it's November and you're on 950k, right? Then you're sweating about what you're going to be this month, because that'd be a finish. It would be a tremendous finish, a tremendous achievement, but how annoying would that be? And I know that because, Bradley used to work with somebody who just hit below £1 million, which has got a pretty good in. 980k, which is a phenomenal number. Puts you in the top percentile of recruiters in Leeds, probably recruiting in the north of England, but you can't call yourself £1 million biller. You probably would, but you can't officially. So it's how you build into that position. But what fundamental skills you need to work on? What do you need to do to achieve that? What do you need to do to achieve your billings and your numbers of what you want to do this month, this quarter, okay, and this year? But what are you working on that's going to produce you as a £1 million biller? What are you working on that's going to produce you as a manager? It's the same thing with anything in your life. If all you're focused on at the moment is losing £5, okay, you'll get to £5, and what happens? You lose £5 in weight, and then the month after you put on a pound, £4 down. 2 months after that, you've put on £2, and then 3 months after that, you're back to where you bloody were, because it wasn't a long-term decision, it was a short-term. I'm going to lose weight, so a wedding to go to, I've got family occasion, and then I'm going back up. It's not long-term health thinking. I've absolutely been victim of that. Fast for ages, cut all the weight, cut all your eating out, got married, dropped down as far as I possibly could. Ever since I got married, consistent tangent north of weight gain, because that physical goal. So it wasn't long-term thinking, it was what's my short-term goal? Yeah, look good on my wedding day, perfect. But after that, it was a toss. So it's that long-term thinking process of what do you want to be healthy and how do you keep that healthy and what knowledge do you need to have in order to get there? Because it's not all just about, just work hard and do X, Y, and Z. That knowledge and expertise is important. So that's what I want to go through.